Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle, and in this game I'm battling a friend of mine who we've faced in many occasions, like the Mono Tournament or the Little Cup that I took place in. I do have a few battles. The Little Cup was abruptly cut out because, I don't remember why, but anyway. Quick question, who do you prefer as Spider-Man as a character? It's either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, for all those who are wondering. Tobey Maguire played in the first Spider-Man films, and Andrew Garfield played in the two latest films. I believe that they were both good. I kinda liked Andrew Garfield a bit more because he was a little different than the standard Spider-Man that we all know from the comics, and I liked it as a change, and I'm a very difficult person when it comes to change. So anyway, my opponent's going to lead off with a Galvantula, and we all know what Galvantulas do when they are a lead set. They always like to set up the sticky webs, and I have a few fast guys on my team that I cannot afford to be on the slow, so that cannot afford to be on the slow, and my opponent goes for the energy ball. I really don't know what occurred to them here, but anyway, I'm gonna go for the rapid spin, get this away, and probably bait my opponent to set the sticky web up and see how much he wants it up. If he wants it up, I'm gonna have to switch out Forretress and maybe press an attack, but that was my first initiative thought, so I'm like, maybe I should switch out into Manectric, maybe resist the electric type attack, and if they wanted to go for a sticky web, it would be a free switch in. So my opponent went for the infestation, which is a very good move, because had my Forretress been trapped there, I wouldn't be able to set up anything like the regular hazards. And this is my new Mega Manectric. This is one of the new Mega Pokemon that I'm using, and I like him a lot. The reason I called him Stelios is, well, I don't know, go figure, and I believe that a Bug Buzz would have been more suitable here. And on top of the crit, my opponent gets a special defensive drop. The reason why they might have outsped me is due to the fact that this is a modest set, not timid, and I want, the extra power boost. I do not pack Volt Switch here, so that is why I'm switching out manually instead of using a move through the switch. And what better move than having a Forretress wall this Umbreon. If my opponent wanted to go for a Toxic, or I don't know, maybe something not nice, I get a free setup here with Forretress, because that is what Forretress is here to do. So in comes this Arclander thing, and I believe that I have posted a battle before where Forretress versus Heracross is a very powerful match where Forretress walls hard like a boss. And if I were my opponent, I would switch out, because Heracross will not be leaving that much of a dent to my Forretress. And so that's none of my concern. I'm gonna sit in here and start setting up. Now my opponent goes for the Rock Blast, maybe for neutral damage, or I don't know what, maybe predicting me to switch out into my veggies, which is my Gorgeist. I called it veggies because if you do not eat your vegetables, kids, they will come back to haunt you. True story, it happened to me once. I didn't eat this pumpkin pie and it came and haunted me in my sleep, and it was horrific, so I don't want the same thing to happen to you guys. So my opponent is still staying in here, not switching out into something that can take on the Forretress, but at this point I'm thinking maybe he's trying to wear me down to a point where he can revenge kill me or something. I'm not sure. Not revenge kill, because I'm not intending to kill anything with Forretress. I do not pack Explosion here. This is a rapid spinner and set upper, but I have thought of the Q-Stap Berry lead, with Explosion once it's brought down sturdy. Anyway, so I predict close combat like a boss, and my opponent goes for the Pin Missile. And although this is a max attack, max HP Gorgeist, it is not taking these Pin Missiles as I would like it to. And you see, this is what happens when you eat your vegetables, kids. They just whittle down in HP and they never stalk you again. So anyway, I go for the Will-O-Wisp because a Burned Heracross is a good Heracross when it's on the opposing side of the field, because if it's yours, it's useless. Anyway, so that way I can get some residual damage going on. I'm like, if you're not switching out, you might as well just, start losing health with the burn. Now, my opponent is not switching out, which is kind of weird. I don't know, maybe at this point why would you want to sack it? Because it was at perfect health. It could have been for you. You know, you could have used it against that Hydreigon, but yet again, Hydreigon is naturally faster than Mega Heracross, so go figure. Anyway, so I wore that pin missile as if nothing ever happened. I resisted twice, and plus the burn, plus the bulk, a physical bulk. I battled a guy that had a Forretress that called it Death Star once, which was a very accurate and cool nickname. So my opponent goes for the pin missile again. I don't know, maybe expecting me to switch out into Gourgeist, predicting me to predict the close combat, but I'm not switching out because I'm like, if you're gonna stay in here, I can set up all over you. And that is my opponent's punishment, I guess, because they do not, I repeat, they did not want to switch out this they had no intentions of, switching out whatsoever. So anyway, but what I'm going to do is, I'm still going to stay in here. My opponent's going to go for the close combat. Not that it really matters, because come on, I'm Forretress. I take hits all day, and especially when you're with a burn, I can just set up a second layer of spikes, I believe. And I have Stealth Rocks up, Spikes up, Toxic Spikes up. Holy Mother of God, anything that comes in to take this will not be having such a good time. So I'm going to switch out my Forretress, predicting another close combat yet again. I believe Arm Thrust would have been more appropriate, utilizing Skill Link properly, but close combat is still a very powerful move. And the only drawback is the special defense and defensive drop. So anyway, I predicted the close combat. I still don't know why my opponent did not want to switch. Even as I'm narrating this, I have no idea why. So I decided to go for the Shadow Sneak, because I knew that my opponent would have wanted to go for a pin missile. But I believe that this must have been a misprediction or a misclick. I'm not sure. I have no idea. Whatever. Besides my Manectric, anything that would come in here would be able to take a Bullet Seed quite well, especially Hydreigon. So, anyway, Heracross is going to die to a residual burn, and it's good to see that I brought it down to this amount of HP. And goodbye, Ocklander. You could have just spared this. I don't know. I don't want to be, sarcastic or anything, but my opponent could have used this. Could have had better use for this. So the Trevenant is not activating a Lumberry, which means it most likely is a Harvest Lumberry set. So it is kind of faster, but the large Gourgeist is not the fastest thing in the world, not even faster than a Trevenant apparently, which is why I opted for Substitute, because I expected Toxic Slash, Will-O-Wisp stat, Affliction moves, and if I were faster it would have been a lot easier. So it doesn't matter. I can just, spam Shadow Sneaks and stuff, whittle it down a little bit, plus Poison, plus everything. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as Trevenant meets the red, boom, out comes this big brown. It looks like a brownie, actually. It looks like whole wheat bread instead of a berry. And at that moment, I was retarded, and I moved the camera. I don't know why. And my opponent breaks my sub with a Shadow Claw and stop moving the camera past me because you're not helping anybody. So anyway, Trevenant's poison is racking up, and it will take time, provided that the Lumberry, the Citrus Berry activates when it has to with Harvest. So my opponent goes for the Horn Leech and doesn't bring me to an amount of HP where I will die. So anyway, it gets some energy back, not too much, not too important. But ladies and gentlemen, my vegetables are so resilient, so awesome, that they just don't die. Look, it just doesn't die. It's at 1 HP. It's like I still have one good attack left, and my opponent decides to get the Harvest Berry activated again, so he's almost at full half HP. So I'm gonna go for a Shadow Sneak, see how much I can do. I'm burned, there's nothing I can do. Trevenant is physically bulky, and he's going to take that one smidgen of an HP and add it to his health. Not that it really matters, because Poison will bring it down to a revengeable range. Not that Trevenant's faster or anything than anything that I have on my team, but oh well. So anything I can bring in now is going to pretty much damage it. Now this Trevenant is going to, I can sack my Forretress here because I want a fresh switch in. I want my opponent not to you know, be prepared for what I have, so that is why I decided to sack my Forretress. But ladies and gentlemen, it still just doesn't die. Do you see any death around here? I don't see any Forretress dying. So anyway, I set up my final layer of spikes, which is good, which means that my opponent will it would be too painful. If I were a Pokemon and I saw all these entry hazards in, I would just swoop back into my Pokeball. No second you know, thoughts. I would just run back to my Pokeball. So look at all of that glorious damage that Umbreon just, you know, took. And Umbreon is a very tough Pokemon to take down. So yeah. I'm gonna go for the Rapid Spin because that is the only thing I can attack with right now, and I just did like what, -4 HP damage to Umbreon. I just gave it, you know, some health back, but you know, the poison's gonna rack up on this thing too, because generally if you have some toxic spikes up and your opponent does not have anything that is immune or that can absorb the toxic spikes on their side of the field, they will not be enjoying this. And Pokemon like poison types are mostly underrated, even in 4th gen. If you think about it, if Fairy did not have a weakness to poison types, there would be very few people using them, and people wouldn't have given a shit or two about toxic spikes. But now poison types have become more dangerous, and that is a given. And I'm gonna go for the Rapid Spin. I didn't see any, you know, change in the HP there whatsoever. Did anyone see anything? If anyone saw anything, please comment about it, because I didn't, you know, manage to see anything. So postpone, because I do not want to do any scans with AVG right now. I want to continue my narration. And ladies and gentlemen, this Umbreon just don't die, because Umbreon never dies. It just never dies. So finally, my Forretress decides to die, and I'm going to send in Lady Gaga, because we love Lady Gaga. She is one of our favorite pop artists. Whoever doesn't like her, I think that they're missing out, because Lady Gaga seems like a fantastic person. I managed to get the special attack drop, but look at this. Weakness policy Umbreon is fantastic, because look at it. Combined with Payback, combined with Curse, it works pretty well, and it did a decent chunk of damage, provided that I resist it, and provided that Umbreon is not that offensive. And I don't think that Curse is too important, you know. Anyway, so I'm gonna go for a Moonblast, because I do not want this thing to go for a Moonlight. And because when it comes to moons, I think that Florges gets the priority on how to use the moon over Umbreon anytime, any day. So I'm at 25% below full HP. But anyway, in comes Weavile, and I know that this is pretty much one of the last Pokemon that my opponent has. So it is down to 50% of HP, and I know that for my opponent to send this in, a Poison Jab is imminent, and that is why I send it in. I let it die. I let my opponent, send in the Weavile. Now, it is at a revengeable range, where I'm going to send in Meatsos, the fantastic, the craptacular Shuckle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is not familiar with Meatsos, don't worry, do not get anxious. This thing is fantastic. My opponent gets flinched, by the way, which is one of the only ways you can defeat a Shuckle. Now, my opponent goes for the Poison Jab. I don't know, maybe they predicted me to switch into something, but I don't think I have a Pokemon that does have any weakness to poison besides Florges. So anyway, I'm going to go for the Infestation. You know, I just want this Weavile to suffer. And he manages to get the poison on me, but not that it is too much of a problem, because my Meatsos has Rest. It's a Chester Rest set. I have never used a Chester Berry on my Pokemon ever, and now it's a perfect chance to use it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Cloyster, one of the most craptacular Pokemon in the game. Since it had access to Shell Smash, it became a pretty fearsome Pokemon. So anyway, Icicle Spear comes in, and you know, just skill links me almost to a point where I die, and I think that this is where I die. So no, I don't, because I'm Meatsos, ladies and gentlemen, and I go for the Power Split for one particular reason. The reason is I was afraid of the of the Shell Smash, and I wanted to render it completely useless. Now, I do have a battle where Meat Sauce is used perfectly, and if I count the amount of rages I got when my opponents, saw that my Shuckle has Power Split, it just completely wrecked stuff around the house. So anyway, I outspeed this Cloyster for one reason or another, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the game. I just destroyed the opposing Cloyster with a Outrage Choice Banded Hydreigon. It is fantastic and unpredictable at times. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle, and I will see you guys next time. I will be posting stuff through Christmas, so see you next time.